Hey everyone, in PokeMoshPitBeta, Lead Speed here, and I'm back for round 3. Yeah, round 3 being my third upload to this channel actually, and as you can kind of see, I have I had a different layout from the last time I uploaded here. Now, I'm gonna have a Gen 5 UU match, but first, I have a question to ask you guys. Have you ever had a situation where you were seeking a 5th Gen UU match, right? You were like maybe at a stream or something like that, and then someone does accept your challenge, but wanted to bring a team of RU Pokemon against you. I have. I've had it happen, and that's kind of the story behind this battle, actually. My opponent had actually accepted my challenge for a UU, but he wanted to bring his RUs, and I wasn't sure if he had like any. I guess he didn't have any or whatever. Now on YouTube, my opponent is known as ouKILLA. On Elo's live stream, he goes by a different username, but I'm not going to get too far into that because we want to get to the battle now. And as you can see, he's going to lead with Cresselia, and I'm going to lead with my amused smiley face Mesprit. And appropriately nicknamed because I just went for Trick. Gave Cress a Scarf first turn, and I get the Light Clay. So, yeah, this is pretty much a dual screener. And she does set up the Reflect, but then I'm like, well, I hope you like wearing a scarf because you're going to be stuck with it for the rest of the game. You know, that's pretty pro right there. Well, it's pretty crippling, basically, because a Scarf Crest is pretty much useless. And I set up the rocks and not U-turn because I know he has, like, a couple pokes that are weak to it that are pretty big threats, actually. So I switched to Registeel, predicting him maybe to go for the Crunch, or maybe Hydro Pump, predicting my switch out, but he went for Earthquake, and that was risky because if I had stayed in and just went for U-turn, his Earthquake would have failed. I would have KO'd it maybe with U-turn, and, I'd have an early lead, but he predicted very well and he went for Earthquake, and seeing Waterfall as well, predicting my switch out, I'm pretty much going to say this is a completely physical Sharpedo set, and which is kind of weird because I thought the mixed sets are kind of common, but I've been fighting a lot of physical ones lately, which is kind of weird, but I guess they're just as viable options at this point. But since I did get off the Thunder Wave right there, I pretty much crippled Sharpedo for the rest of the game, so he's got pretty much 2 crippled pokes. And I did lose Registeel, and yeah, losing Registeel was kind of a big deal, actually. You're going to see later on. I get real scared at one certain part, and I have to kind of work around that part when it comes. So he goes for the Protect just to see what my Heracross would do, and I did go for Close Combat, and, predicted me to go for another one because, I would be locked into it or whatever. He goes to Cress, and who takes it like a champ, barely takes anything from it because she's a beast of a wall and stuff like that, and, I'll give props for that. But, since she's scarfed, she becomes setup fodder for Akiza, the Rose Raid. And yeah, this Rose Raid is actually a defensive one, and if you get the reference, that's awesome, but, like I said before, not everyone's going to get the references. In fact, a lot of nicknames are kind of weird in references, but, anyways, I go for Leech Seed. Now, this Swellow right here that just came in scared the crap out of me. It really did. But anyways, I went for Leech Seed, predicting Crest to switch out because I know I'm going to wear it eventually because it doesn't have like any leftovers and he's not going to be able to Moonlight. But right here, he goes for the Facade, right? And I have nothing to take this Facade. Nothing on my team wants to take it. Since I lost Registeel, my one save switching is gone. So I'm going to have to make up for foddering, and the ever so epic Crows? Or is it Crows? You tell me. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. He has a top hat and stuff, and he's epic. So, yeah, maybe it could be. But anyways, I went for Sucker Punch and took out the Swellow. I mean, he could have switched out, but Stealth Rocks and Burn would rack up, and I could fodder at least one other poke, and then I could probably take it out from then on, so yeah. I switched out to Heracross, predicting the Sharpedo to go for the Protect, which was kind of risky because he could have went for the Waterfall, but I guess he didn't want to take a Sucker Punch, and I guess I used that knowledge to my advantage. So he goes into his Venomoth to quad resist my Close Combat. although I do get a crit right here. Now, in his mind, it probably mattered, but in my mind, it didn't. And I'm not going to say why it didn't matter, because you guys can figure that out yourselves. But anyways, I'm just going to go for another close combat. Don't want to, I don't want this thing setting up quiver dances and pretty much screwing me over, Because, yeah, that's usually what happens. Now, in comes Cafagrigus, and, in before joke about the name Cafagrigus, but hey, what are you going to do? I go to mess for predicting him to maybe set up a Calm Mind or something like that, but he goes for Protect, and I'm like, okay, that is perfectly okay with me. I do not mind that at all, so I could have went for U-turn predicting him to switch out, but, it was the safer option in case he did stay in. And since he has a Scarf Crest, and I'm going to go second with the U-turn, I'm going to get a free switch in and free damage as well. So, that's always nice to have. And I am going to bring in Respect, my Kingdra. And let me tell you, he has the appropriate nickname for the situation, because you're thinking it might be like a Dragon Dance setup, right? And others say it might be a Rain Dance, but whoever said it was a Rain Dance, you are correct, because it is the Rain Dance set. And in this battle, it worked really well. I think the DD set wouldn't have worked as well, especially with the Reflect up. And since the Cressel has been setting up Reflects pretty much the whole game, because most of my offensive guys are physical attackers, barring this one. So, yeah, I go with the Surf. I almost take it out, and he went for Toxic, and I have the Lumberry, which maybe, of course, some people might be like, what? You not Life Orb? What is this madness? Yeah, in this battle, like, sometimes I use Life Orb, but sometimes I use Lumberry, so I like to switch it up sometimes. So you can't really guess right off the bat. Maybe until after I attack, and if you already try to status me, then it'll fail, and I can get another free hit off, and that is nice. So, yeah, he's going to bring in Crest right now, and I'm just going to go for another Surf and take him out. So, at this point, what he's going to have to do is stall out the rain. Oh, and Reflect's gone, so that's even better, because now I can bring in my physical hitters later on if I wish. But I'm not going to do that, because I want to stay in with Kingdra since the rain is still up. And he's going to bring in my favorite Pokemon, his Gallade or Gallade, however you say it. I think it is actually pronounced Gallade, but I like to say Gallade because it sounds cooler. I think. I don't know. But anyways, I knew he could probably live that Surf because he has that natural special defensive bulk. I think even if you don't invest in it. But yeah, he's going to take me out with 2 close combats after the rain ended. I'm running Modest and not Timid, so I think Gallade is probably running Jolly Max speed and then did outspeed me. That or he just had a Scarf, and I'm not sure at this point. But I know that my Mesprit can pretty much take any hit from this Gallade and, just take it out with the U-turn. I could have went for like Zen Headbutt, but I'd rather just go for the U-turn and switch into something else. Because he only has one of the Pokemon left at this point, and it is his Cafagrigus. So I'm going to bring in Crows, and then, he's going to bring in the Cafagrigus, and yeah, thanks to the Stealth Rocks, well, actually, I don't think Stealth Rocks mattered at this point, because everything else that was weak to Stealth Rocks have already left the game, so, yeah. He goes for the Protect when I try to Brave Bird, so I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to Brave Bird everything. Because, everyone's pretty much saying that, and I guess it's kind of cool. I mean, and before that becomes a meme in itself that gets so overused that it gets tiring, but, that's not my call, It depends on, how many people are actually doing that, but, yeah, I take out the Cafagrigus with a Brave Bird, and that will be the game, and my goodness, this was one of the weirdest games I've ever had, because it ended up being like a UU versus RU match, but that Swellow scared me. If I didn't have that Haunch Crow with Sucker Punch, I would have been swept with that, obviously. I would have been swept by Swellow, and that would have been like, wow. Wow. But, it didn't happen, and that's why it's nice to have priority. Even if, Sucker Punch can be somewhat unreliable, because if they can predict around it, then it's useless, but that's why with my Roserade, I was almost tempted to set up Spikes, I guess, in case they want to switch out and then they come back in, they'll get hurt by Spikes. But yeah, because if you look at most of this team could KO my Roserade in a single shot. Swallow could take me out with a single shot. Gallade can with Cycle Cut. Sharpedo probably could if it had like Ice Fang or something. It probably doesn't. I think it just has Waterfall, Crunch, and Earthquake, and Protect. So I don't know. Like basically 2 threats could take out my Roserade in a single shot, and I really didn't get to use her in this game. But I do plan on utilizing her to the full potential some other time later if I'm able to do so. But yeah, that was very weird, and man, that was a huge fresh of air for me, I guess, when that Swellow died, because that pretty much meant the rest of the game could kind of go smoothly. I mean, granted that the crit on Venomoth may or may not have mattered. But yeah, if you like this battle, I guess you could check out my channel for more content. I am constantly uploading on there. At some points, I'll have to be refreshing for more matches or taking breaks to get more matches and stuff so I can upload more en masse later. Because I'm not at the point where I have like a crap ton of matches to upload because, you know, I'm not like that far into it, basically, if you want to say that. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. So yeah, subscribe to me, subscribe to my opponent, and subscribe to PokeMoshPitBeta, and look forward to more content. And I am definitely seeing a lot of promise in some of these fellow PMPBeta directors. So yeah, I will see you guys next time in another video. Peace!